guys. First and foremost, you deserve a real round of applause for finding this place, right? Congratulations. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm going to do my own introduction today because I can. So my name is Kate Hoy. I am the manager of the Cornell Center for Behavioral Economics and Child Nutrition Programs. We also call it the Ben Center. I know several of you were there this morning. I'm very happy to see you again. Some of you I've seen other locations around the country, and some of you are first-timers, so I'm really happy to have you here. I have been working in child nutrition now for 12 years on lots of different sides of child nutrition, from the clinical side all the way through to this public health research side. And I'm going to be going through a couple different things with you today. This morning I went through the basics of smarter lunchrooms. So if you feel as though you maybe missed that, I apologize. I'm not going through it today. Not right now anyway. I already did it once, right? Geez, people. Okay. But what I am going to do is I'm going to talk about smarter lunchrooms as a national movement. What does it look like? What has happened over the past few years since its inception? And then how did this growth occur? What kinds of models have been used to help get this out into various states and into their programs? And then I think the real thing that you guys want, and the reason why you're probably here, is to get the top tips for how to get it to get smarter lunchrooms into your buildings. And then some tips and resources that you can use immediately in your space to make that happen. So one thing I want to say before we get started, if your phone rings, you will dance. I will find you. We will dance together. I will let you even pick the genre. That's how nice I am. Okay? We can twist. We can Macarena. It doesn't really matter. But if you're not sufficiently frightened of me seeking you out and dancing with you, then you should probably silence your phone or just run the risk. It's entirely up to you. All right? The other thing is, if towards the middle of this session I feel like we might be falling asleep because, you know, that happens. It's the afternoon. We've been walking around and gorging, which is lovely. I have a physical activity break that I would love to do with you if you would be so kind to do it with me. Okay? So we'll get halfway through and then we'll do a physical activity break. So to get started, I have to turn the clicker on. That's how it works. Okay. So starting. So the Smarter Lunchrooms movement, as you guys know, is about designing environments to help kids take and eat the foods that we're offering, because we know we're offering good food to kids. So we want to make sure that we are gently encouraging these decisions, right? We want the environment to be conducive to the taking and consumption of fresh fruits and vegetables, as well as those healthy entrees that we're offering. So Smarter Lunchrooms is based in this principle of using environmental design. What's really cool about the Ben Center and how this got started is that we are school-focused research. We use consumer behavior research, but we apply it to schools because we want to know how kids behave, right? We want to make sure that kids are behaving in the ways that we think that they are behaving. And right now we know like 60-40, right? 60% of the time kids behave the way we do, 40% of the time they're like, nah, no, not even try, all right? But that means that we are completely USDA funded. So I am not here to talk about menu design. Smarter Lunchrooms does not talk about menu design. You guys hear a lot about menu design, but at the end of the day, you're the experts in your own spaces. You have designed your menus based off of the people that you know on your customer. So I'm not going to talk about that. Now, I do have opinions about it. I will talk to you about that privately if you so choose, okay? But I'm not here to talk to you about that, all right? So we're USDA funded, and we're not going to talk about menu design. The other thing that we know about the Ben Center and that we are really excited about is that we are in about 40,000 schools across the country right now. So that means that we're in 42% of the nation's public schools. That is awesome, right? That's pretty cool. I'm not going to lie, given that going out and doing these trainings across the country has kind of built this program. And we were started in 2009, and we've been doing research in about 2,000 schools every year since then, because we believe it has to be evidence-based, right? We hear a lot of people talk about, well, this works and I just know. Well, how do you know, right? Tell me how you know. And so all of our research is backed by plate waste. We want to make sure that kids are both taking it and eating it. And finally, we do that in a lot of different ways. We have a lot of different partnerships with state extension agencies, Department of Ed, Department of Health, other universities. I see a couple representatives of other universities in this space, as well as public and private partnerships. So really what it comes down to is collective impact. We want everyone on the same train tracks moving forward, right? Instead of all of us going in different directions trying to get the same mission accomplished. And then, of course, I had to throw in a picture of us with a really cool award, right? Check that out. They gave me a little piece of paper. It was cool. We were awarded the AAEA, which is the Agriculture and Economics Association, we were awarded an Outstanding Distinguished Outreach Award, which is nice. So yay for us. Okay, so this was 2014. So what we did, and what we do every year, is we do an awareness survey. So every year we survey food service directors across the country, and we ask them a couple questions. Do you know about smarter lunchrooms? What do you know about smarter lunchrooms? Have you applied smarter lunchrooms in your space? That kind of stuff, right? And so in 2014, this was the basic map of the country. So you can see, Michigan was pretty much the only one above 50% at that time. We also have a little bit of Rhode Island there, but that's because Rhode Island, if we have any reps from Rhode Island, know that there was like one meeting and I hit every LEA. Like the whole state was in one room at one time, which was pretty awesome. But most of the rest of the country were kind of down in that 1 to 25%. And this is just awareness. Are you aware of smarter lunchrooms? What is smarter lunchrooms, right? This is this past year. So in 1 year, we have doubled awareness across the country. And that's getting accomplished through a couple different things. So these maps are available, so you can find yourself on there if you want to. But most of the reason why this is growing the way it is because of these partnerships that I was talking about before. So we've got our 6 principles, right? And what we encourage people when we talk about smarter lunchrooms is to pick one change at a time, make that change, and then build incremental change into your plan every year. Right? So find something that works for you, make it work for you, and then, build on it, build out in a way, all right? So these are the 6 principles that everything is kind of rooted in when it comes down to smarter lunchrooms. And when we go through and we ask those panel surveys, who's doing what? This is what we're finding. The most average smarter lunchrooms commitment, post-training, post me coming in and talking until you're blue in the face. Yay, great, okay? About 29% of the people that come to our trainings are saying, I'll put up signs, right? Like I can handle signage. I can put out fun names. I can do some creative naming with my foods. I feel pretty confident in my ability to do that. The other large percentage is, yeah, I can put a fruit bowl out, right? So when we talk about highlighting that really great real estate, whole fruit in a bowl next to the register, that is the second highest selected option. And then finally, down there towards the bottom, we've got staff training. So yeah, I think I can train my staff on smarter lunchrooms, right? I feel pretty confident in the ability to use these 6 principles to train other people. And then there's a small smidgen of people that are like, well, I'll see if the rest of my school wants to play, and then I'll rearrange my milk cooler, all right? So that's the general review. And a lot of times, if you're doing training, they're going to agree with whatever you say is the easiest. Okay? So whenever I go out and I do training and I say the highest return on investment thing you could possibly do is put names on your fruits and vegetables. Ta-da! That's why we have the highest selection of that as the option. So how did we grow out the way that we did? Well, first we have the Healthier U.S. School Challenge requirements. Are any of you seeking Healthier U.S. School Challenge grants? Yep. Okay. Are any of you maybe considering Healthier U.S. School Challenge? Awesome. Healthier U.S. School Challenge, you guys, there's just buckets of money sitting there waiting for us to do something about it, right? So go out there and apply for it. And this is a primary part of that Healthier U.S. School Challenge requirement now. So we have a Smarter Lunchroom scorecard, and that scorecard is being included into the Healthier U.S. School Challenge. It is a portion of that Healthier U.S. School Challenge grant application right now, all right? That's just a portion of it. It is not the only portion. There's other pieces that you have to do. But we have this great little breakdown at the bottom where bronze applicants need to be doing at least 30 of those Smarter Lunchrooms action items from the scorecard. The silver and gold applicants, we want to see at least 50 of those items in play. And if you're going for gold with distinction, we want to see at least 71, okay? Now, I will tell you, the national average right now on that scorecard is a 41. All right, so that means most schools are getting right within that bronze range. And with a little bit of help and a little bit of change, they could get into that silver gold application status. The other way that it's grown is in our wellness policies. So USDA has strongly recommended that Smarter Lunchrooms be at least reviewed and included in your school wellness policy. How many of you know where your school wellness policy is? I'm happy to see that. When I asked that like a year ago, people were like, maybe. I think I have an idea of where it should be, maybe. It's got a little dust on it, right? Well, now that we know that Smarter Lunchrooms is an easy way to build in that evaluation, right? We now have to evaluate our wellness policies. Smarter Lunchrooms has that scorecard, so it's already built-in evaluation. If I say I'm going to, in my wellness policy, incorporate at least 30 of my Smarter Lunchrooms checklist options, great. I have a scorecard to show what my evaluation looks like. The other way that we're seeing this growth is through SNAP-Ed and through other food system programs. So SNAP-Ed is encouraging the use of the education system going out and including Smarter Lunchrooms. So now your extension professionals have the leeway to provide training to you. So that is a great option for you. If you're looking for people to provide training in Smarter Lunchrooms, your extension in your state has the leeway now to go out and provide training in Smarter Lunchrooms to you, all right? So you can see that they're starting to work on school environments as well as in other SNAP-Ed environments. And we're starting to move more towards that far right-hand side with that collective impact, right? Instead of having agencies go in different directions. All right, so let's talk about the elephant in the room, professional standards, right? Welcome to the very first month of professional standards. They were now newly implemented as of July 1st. Happy birthday, USA, right? And as we go forward, professional standards, obviously we have a couple things that we know about it. The first thing I want to draw your attention to is this really awesome website. Have any of you been to this website? The USDA website? It is wicked awesome, okay? It goes through, it gives you a list of all the training opportunities that could help you meet your professional standards in your area. It allows you to Google search and find different options for you to meet those professional standards. And it also gives you a tool for tracking your CEUs for everyone there, all right? Pretty cool, pretty comprehensive, all right? Now, underneath those professional learning standards, we have two different areas that Smarter Lunchrooms can directly impact your professional needs, and that is under the operations and under the communications and marketing areas. So under operations and communications and marketing, the trainings that Smarter Lunchrooms offers and all the materials that Smarter Lunchrooms offers, any one of them can be used to help meet those professional standards requirements, all right? So, for example, under the operations section, serving food 2200, the employee will be able to correctly and efficiently serve food portions to meet all USDA school meal pattern requirements, right? I don't have to read the rest to you, you get it. Either way, under that particular area, serving food to maintain quality appearances and managing serving lines for efficiency, both of those are under Smarter Lunchrooms principles, under managing portion sizes and suggestive selling. So both of those function there. And then under the communications and marketing, all learning codes apply to any of the Smarter Lunchrooms modules, materials that you actually can go through on our website. They are also listed on that USDA site so that you can go through and see exactly which ones apply to you in your learning need codes. The final way that Smarter Lunchrooms has grown the way that it has is really through team nutrition. So team nutrition in these states and across the country has just done an immense job of building Smarter Lunchrooms into these granting procedures. So there's a competitive grant and a non-competitive grant through team nutrition. And team nutrition at the state level has done an immense job of using Smarter Lunchrooms as an evaluation and incremental change tool. So let me show you a little bit about what that looks like. So states, in 2012, Michigan, Ohio, and Florida were the genesis of the Smarter Lunchrooms movement. So Michigan, Ohio, and Florida were like, yeah, we like Smarter Lunchrooms. Let's see what this is all about, right? But they had very different models. Michigan took a model where they were going to do regional trainings. We've divided the state into 4 different sections, right? We're going to bring Kate in. Hi, what's up? I go out there. I train. And then they kind of just saw what stuck. What stuck? It was kind of like throwing spaghetti against the wall and see if anything hangs out for a while. Ohio took a much more dedicated process, and what they did is they had a single training, but then they used teams, quadrants, where a university partnership partnered directly with 10 schools in an area to implement Smarter Lunchrooms and evaluate it. Then Florida went a completely different way, and they said, well, yeah, this is all great, but I really like farm to school. Farm to school is really cool, so what we're going to do is we're going to train all of our farm to school educators on Smarter Lunchrooms. That way we can make the farm produce look even better than the produce that we're offering from other areas. It's been really interesting to see how things have grown. So then in 2013, we had Connecticut, Kansas, Michigan, Minnesota, Montana, and Oregon. And then 2014, all of the grants, right, we can see we have grown exponentially, and that's part of the reason why awareness has shot up across most of these states. Okay, Does everyone feel comfortable about the awareness function? I mean, I feel like that was really boring. Is everyone cool? All right, great. So let's talk about top tips and resources and how we can get these things into our plan in our buildings. So the first thing you need to know, do not reinvent the wheel. There are so many things out there that are just made for the taking. They are there for you already. You do not need to reinvent spice bars. Cincinnati Public Schools already has a planogram. You don't have to reinvent these procedures. They're already done. So work to your pay grade, right? Google it, see spice bar planogram, right? Spice bar planogram, Cincinnati Public Schools. It'll come up for you. Makes it really easy. Have any of you used spice bars in your space? I just am amazed by spice bars. They are really an epically awesome way for you to add some great flavor and taste to things that maybe we don't have a lot of opportunity to change, okay? Now this is our website. So what I've done now for a lot of the rest of this presentation is I'm going to show you exactly where you can find the resources that I mention on our website so that later when you're like, she mentioned this thing, I have no idea where it is, right? It's in a PowerPoint for you, so you can actually find it. How convenient, right? I know. smarterlunchrooms.org is our website. So this is the home site. This is the base of everything. This is where you're going to find that scorecard that I mentioned. So the scorecard, like I said, a couple tips to know. I really like including the scorecard directly into my manager's trainings. So when I go out and I do my manager's trainings, the scorecard gets incorporated right into it. This is a way that I'm going to look at whether we're meeting our marketing and our communications goals. I want you to familiarize yourself with the scorecard. I want you to ask me questions about it, right? Directly into that training. The other thing that you need to know is that a lot of people fall in love with the number, right? And I think that's a product of the AR, right? We go in for our annual review and we either get that percentage of how much we're really good and how much we need to change. Don't fall in love with the number. The Smarter Lunchroom scorecard was designed specifically so that you cannot get a 0 and you cannot get 100 on it, okay? It is designed as an incremental change tool. It is designed to help you make a plan to change things in your space. The other thing that you know is that these are 100 evidence-based suggestions. And when I say evidence-based, what I mean is every point on that scorecard has at least 3 peer-reviewed journals that show that it increases participation, increases consumption, or decreases waste. So that's pretty awesome in terms of opportunities for you. So that's where you're going to find the scorecard first. The scorecard has also been turned into an app that is free for your phone. So everyone take out your cell phone, right? So it's called Smarter Lunchroom Scorecard. It's either in the Apple Store or the Android Store. You can find it. It's also available on the website. It is completely free, so you can download it, put it on your phone, on your iPad, whatever kind of form that you want to use. And what you do with it, you create a profile for yourself. And under that profile, you can then search the schools in your area and create scorecards for those schools in live time. What's really great about this app is that it allows you to take pictures and directly document into that app at that time. So for example, if I'm saying, oh, I've got fruit in a bowl by the register, I need to document that for my Healthier U.S. School Challenge grant. Snap, right? Print that, it's good to go, all right? The other really cool thing that you can do with this is you can create a single profile for a district, right? Maybe I want to create a single profile for my district. That way everyone can see the scores over time. And you can see what happens with that competition, right? Oh, my one elementary school got a 30, but my other elementary school got a 33. And now they are all jazzed up and want to make sure that we make these changes. It's really kind of fun to see how people kind of get really competitive. And also that person looks like me, so I'm really excited about that. Okay. So under the resources tab, that's where you're going to find a bulk of the materials that I'm going to be referencing. So under these fun tabs right across the top, resources, got it, great. And then under that resources tab, under training materials, you'll see all of these manual checklists and forms, all right? I love checklists. I love forms. I have OCD and I'm very type A. So basically what I did is I thought, what would I like a checklist for that? Yes, I would. I should make that public, okay? And I went through the exact steps for how to create a smarter lunchroom in your space. So this is the very first document you should see under Smarter Lunchrooms. It gives you the step. So before, getting started, learn about the Smarter Lunchrooms movement. It tells you which instructional guides you're going to need from the website. It tells you what related supplemental materials are available to you to help you, and then it tells you how to track your progress. So that is the first document that I would ever print off of that website, because it basically walks you through step 1, get out of bed, right? Step 2, brush your teeth, okay? Those kinds of things. Additionally, under the Resources tab is a section called Instructional Guides. And that is going to be the basis of making each other change. Now, does anyone have any questions about what I've gone through already? I know I talk very fast. Yes, ma'am?
Smarter Lunchroom app, when it's asking about what we need to accept, is we have to accept control of our camera. That's kind of interesting. Why is that?
Our app designer, in order to have access to, so the question was, why does it have to say that I have access to my camera? And that is so that you can document those photos directly into the app. So that is so that you can pull from your saved files. So that even if you don't want to take live time pictures, you can go back into your saved files and pull pictures in. I know, it sounds weird. It's okay. Any other questions about what I've covered? Comments, concerns, stories, poems, problems? Haiku? I'm really into haiku. Yes, ma'am?
Questions about the app?
Mm-hmm. The questions for the app can be directed to myself at kih7@cornell.edu. The website, I'm going to give it to you at the end as well. But then there's also a Contact Us button on the app, and that goes directly to our app developer. So if you have questions about how to use the scorecard, like technical theory stuff, you can email me. If you have questions about, well, I can't find a school, right, send it to the app designer. But every school should be in there. We went through the USDA's listing, so. Any other questions? All right, got it. All right, so 5 keys for Smarter Lunchroom success in your space. So the first thing we're going to go through training, empowerment, then we're going to talk about some support, research, and communication. Now these are the 5 things that we have learned after bringing Smarter Lunchrooms across the country that are the most important. So I have resources to go under each one of these tips. So to get started, training. So most staff members, whenever we go out and we provide Smarter Lunchrooms training at the director level, okay, most staff members are really excited by Smarter Lunchrooms. They're actually like, hey, this is fun. It's not menu design, right? Or it's not regulations. This is actually kind of cool. And so we have 3 primary methods that we use when it comes to Smarter Lunchrooms training that are available to you right now. And those are direct, in person, me coming down doing trainings in your space. Indirect, so doing some distance stuff, and then self-directed, so you doing your own process to get Smarter Lunchrooms certified. And these are under the training tab on our Smarter Lunchrooms website. So the first training, in-person training, okay? Under upcoming events, you'll see where we are at that time. So we have a list, a calendar of where we are, who we're training, what conferences we're going to be at. And then again, we also offer trainings around the country. So I will highly encourage you to contact your state agency. So, hey, I'm interested in having Smarter Lunchrooms training in my district. I need to contact my State Department of Education and see if maybe they have something going on and if I can piggyback on it. So why would I have to front making this happen, right? Someone else should make it happen. I'll just show up. The other thing is we offer a symposium in Ithaca every single year. It is free. It is 100% free. We offer scholarships as well so that you can attend. And we go through all of the Smarter Lunchrooms materials in the course of a 3-day training. And then, of course, we also have all the fun stuff, too, where we take you around Ithaca and tootle you about. Additionally, under the training tab, we have webinars and meetings. So we have our in-person meetings, webinars, and any kind of conferences and meetings that we're going to be making appearances at. So this is a great way to plan your training around the space. Indirect training, additionally on that training tab, we have a 2-hour training module. It's 100% free. So it goes through the Introduction to Behavioral Economics and 6 Principles. This also has CEUs attached to it, 2 CEUs from SNA, A&D, ACF, LMNOP, all those little acronym-y things, right? This is a great tool for kitchen managers, particularly. I find that that's a good time for you to have, require a brief review of Smarter Lunchrooms. 2 hours, they can do it at their own pace. And then finally, under our resources tab, we have a ton of archived webinars. So every month, Smarter Lunchrooms offers at least 1 webinar, at least 1. Sometimes we do 2 or 3. And every one of them are 30 minutes or less, so that you can actually sit down maybe during a lunch break or something and eat while watching this webinar, okay? Or you can balance your checkbook if you're like me, even though you haven't used checks in years. It's weird, I don't know. Anyway, so we've got tons of archived webinars available to you so that you can go through and get CEUs after the fact. And we have tons of different topics that range from how to get parents involved all the way to talking through creative naming and introducing you to some tools that we have on our website. Workshops for lunchroom staff under the resources tab, these are self-directed. So this is you teaching your staff about smarter lunchrooms. We have tons of workshop opportunities for you, and you can see that there are materials, there are PowerPoints, and there are worksheets that go with each of them. So for example, there's some epic, awesome music over there, right? For example, how do we get positive cueing for our kids? How do we cue our kids as they come through our lunchroom? This is a workshop that we've done with staff that goes through the occasion, the goal, gives you examples, and you role play positive communication with kids. All right, so again, self-directed training, we encourage you to take the 2-hour training module, but then we also have video tips. And these video tips are available under the Our Ideas section. And we have 60 plus videos that talk you through the basics of the 6 principles all the way through how to collect plate waste. So if you're interested in collecting plate waste and doing evaluation, that is also available. Now the next tip that we have is empowerment, right? How do we empower other people to help us with this? Because if I'm the only one doing it, it's probably not going to get done to the full effect. So the very first thing that we talk about is that scorecard and those how-to instructional guidelines. Sorry, I literally just coughed and spoke at the same time. All right. So when we interviewed staff across the country, we asked them, well, how can we empower you more? And they said, we would really like to be a part of the decision-making process. That's really what it comes down to. If you want to empower us to help you, we want to be a part of the decision-making process. And this goes back to that choice architecture stuff that I was talking about earlier today. If I can help encourage you to feel good about this, the likelihood that you will feel better about it and do it again goes up, right? Think about it. When you go to the doctor and the doctor says you need to lose weight, how many of you are like, yeah, first thing I'm going to do is go for a run, right? Probably not. If the doctor says, you need to lose weight, what kinds of activities do you like? What kinds of things do you like doing, right? You're more than willing to come up with something that you would be actually able and capable and happy to do. So that's part of this buy-in process. So the way that I use the scorecard to develop buy-in, I go through my lunchrooms, check off my little scorecard, right? And anything that's checked, you guys are rock stars at, right? Way to go, you're awesome. You don't have to do anything different, cool. Things that aren't checked, those are my areas of opportunity, right? Those are things that I could do to improve. So what I do is I take that list of things that aren't checked and I take it to my staff and I say, hey, what kinds of things are you interested in starting with? Which ones of these are the most interesting to you? Which ones do you like? Which ones do you not like? Where can we start? The other thing that we talk about when it comes to empowerment, the word I love is pilot. We're going to pilot this change, right? What does pilot imply? Well, you're the first ones to do it, and it might not be permanent, right? We're piloting something. We're trying it. It also implies that you can tell me if it's not working, right? You can tell me if this isn't working. We have a feedback system already built in. Under the Resources tab, under Instructional Guides, this is a sample instructional guide that I've used with staff when developing my plan. So how do I include intervention ideas from my school staff? It talks through the materials that you're going to need to do it, the steps, and then it gives you a great way to ask some specific questions. How do I ask specific questions of my staff? Under the support situation, right? We need other people to help us out because if it's just us again, it kind of gets a little lame. So problems arise. And the thing that we've learned from doing this is that most staff appreciate having a dedicated time to address problems. Is there a time that I can come talk to you about X, Y, or Z specifically? Okay? And in doing that, we recommend that you set up a communication plan. So a communication plan, not necessarily how you're going to publicize everything, but an internal communication plan. Like quarterly, I'm gonna have a meeting where I'm just gonna have an open door. You can come in and talk to me about whatever problems you might have, right? Maybe you always get a blister because you buy the wrong shoes. Who knows? Let's talk about it, right? This is an opportunity for us to sit down and build rapport, as well as talk our way through some of these issues that you might be coming in contact with. The other thing that this is really great about is that there's success stories out there at the national level as well as at the state level. So Ohio, for example, they have a wonderful blog going through success stories in their state. We have a ton of links to success stories from across the country. And most states right now at the Department of Education area, or agency, sorry, that was not supposed to be area, substitute agency, they have success stories. If you have a success story, share it. Other people will benefit from it. And the final thing is that Healthier US School Challenge, the team nutrition, local school wellness, professional standards, these are all actually ways to support you. Find how it will help you and work it into your system that way. Don't make it just another thing you have to do. Again, under our support system, we have trainers' materials. I showed you a little bit about this. But then we have this really cool guide called Key Stakeholders Planning Guide. And this gives you a list of the people that you might want on your Smarter Lunchrooms team. It goes through and talks about what they can do to help each other, how you can get to reach those new goals that you might have at a district level, and how to create a mission statement as a unified group. Under the Get Involved tab, that's where you're going to find our success stories from a national level. All right, so we have a bunch of pictures and webinars and great photos and stories from people across the country who have done Smarter Lunchrooms. And let's face it, they're not all like, and then butterflies and unicorns popped out, right? A lot of them are like, this was a challenge that we had, and this is how we overcame it. This is how we dealt with it. Research. Now, I'm not going to lie. This is something that I have failed at when I started working in schools. And that was that after I made something happen and I evaluated it, I didn't share those results with anybody else, right? That was just me. I was checking to see if moving the milk increased milk consumption. If it did, great. Woo, go me, right? Didn't tell anyone else. Didn't matter. But the staff that I was working with were really kind of disgruntled. They were like, well, what happened, right? Did something happen? Did something change? I don't know. Maybe it did. I can't tell, right? They thought maybe it did, maybe it didn't. Who knows? So we encourage you to do some kind of evaluation in your space. We use research, the term research, as a synonym for that, okay? Research is evaluation. So if you have an opportunity to do any kind of research, do it. Look at your production records. Incorporate research. And then the other thing that we found after doing this evaluation is share it in a public way. So down here in this lower left-hand corner, this is actually the California Department of Education, and this was at their School Nutrition Association meeting. We had a great Smarter Lunchrooms reception. Anyone who felt that they had done Smarter Lunchrooms in the state got to come. It was great. They got to share their success stories, got to talk about their evaluation measures. Even Tom Torlikson, the superintendent of public instruction, came. It was really kind of cool. And everyone felt like they had an opportunity to share what they felt was most important to them about this process. And again, if you're interested in evaluation measures in the instructional guides, how do you evaluate your results in Smarter Lunchrooms? So we've got an instructional guide for that, right? It's like we got an app for that. We got a guide for that. All right, communication. This is the #1 request I get from everyone around the country. They want more. Tell me more. I want to hear more from you. I want more information from you. Make it happen. So we recommend that at the start of your intervention or at the start of your Smarter Lunchrooms base plan, you come up with when and how often you're going to talk to people, the various stakeholders, right? My principal, once a month, maybe, if it's good, right? My staff members, I'm going to talk to on a weekly basis. Either way, have a communication plan set up so that you know from the beginning when you're supposed to expect communication from these people. And again, Smarter Lunchrooms bonus materials, there's also a sample press release. This is already written for you. It is plug and chug. It is X gets a Smarter Lunchrooms makeover, right? You can send it out. I highly encourage you to do this. And the way that I also get buy-in from my administration when I do this, right? I fill in my little numbers from my sales and my production records. I take a couple pictures because pictures speak louder than words most often. And then I take it to my administrator, maybe my curmudgeonly administrator, right? And I say, I would really like to include a quote from you before I send this out because you've been so supportive. It's really hard to be the person on the receiving end of that and go, no, I didn't. I didn't support you in this success. I should definitely not put my name on that and take any credit, right? They're more than willing to be able to put their name on something like that. And this helps build some buy-in so that later when you're sitting at that school board meeting, you can go, remember that time that I helped you look really good? I need a new cooler, right? Let's talk. All right, the other thing we have going across the entire nation is technical advising. So this is a large-scale project management program, and it talks about working with multiple schools and multiple times. There are great agencies, like I told you, Extension, Dairy, they have great partners out there to help you do this. And we have 2 levels of certification for our technical advising professionals right now. The first is if you go to the full Smarter Lunchrooms training, a full 8-hour training, but you do not go on a certified site visit with an advisor, you are certified to teach 4 hours worth of Smarter Lunchrooms. You can go through the introduction, behavioral economics, all that jazz, okay? If you do go on a site visit with a certified instructor like myself, then you are capable of teaching that full 8 hours, all right? You are more than able to go out and help people and consult with people in their space. Additionally, it lasts 3 years, all right? Your certification lasts 3 years before you need to have to recertify. The one thing that you have to know about Smarter Lunchrooms and being a technical advising professional is that you cannot charge for those trainings because I'm USDA certified, right? I can't charge for that. This is a training, these are free resources. So if you are feeling altruistic or in any way benevolent, you may get a TAP certification, and while you're going out into schools anyway, help other schools. If not, that's totally cool, someone else will do it, right? That person's me. The other thing that you have to do is you have to do some reporting on the back end. That's for you. Basically, you have to be in communication with me so that I know what's going on. And this is where our print materials come into play. So we have a TAP handbook. This handbook was at our booth that you saw. And what it is it's teaching you basically how to provide training to other people. It is a train the trainer handbook for Smarter Lunchrooms. It gives you practical advice. It is very frank, kind of like me, in case you haven't noticed, right? It talks about building and growing those relationships all the way through to helping to get people get their evaluation done. So I told you, here's the table of contents. It goes through your roles and goals as a TAP provider, developing relationships, leading that makeover. So it talks you through that makeover process step by step, and then gives you appendixes, tools, and templates. Now, this is the one that I think most people are most excited about, and I'm actually most excited about it. It is brand new, came in May, and this is the No Time to Train manual. All right, so what we did is we took all of our Smarter Lunchrooms work, all of our materials, all that jazz, right? And we condensed it into 12 15-minute or less trainings so that you can train your staff in little 15-minute snippets. What's really cool about this is that it builds directly into those professional standards requirements, right? We know that they're in 15-minute increments, so at the end of the school year, you've already met those communication and requirements under marketing. So we've got a couple different things right now. We've got, it should say 12 monthly topics. You've got a lesson, so an actual training lesson, a little booster shot that goes with it, and then you've got worksheets and follow-up ideas. We also have an appendix at the back of this particular book. You can see it's broken out by those months, which is great. That has those additional worksheets and PowerPoints in it. So right now our topics include an introduction to behavioral economics. We talk about how fruits, vegetables, white milk, and reimbursable meals can be sold and marketed better. We also have some fun projects. Like one of my favorite workshops is getting everyone together and glitter gluing some signs, basically, right? Like let's come up with some fun signage together. It's great. Yay, it does a lot for morale. You'd be really surprised, okay? That's one of those in there. We also have student interaction, so positive cueing, as well as running student surveys. How do we do student surveys with our students? And then some reflection and leadership development. The community of practice, I told you a little bit about this. This is where we have tons of print materials and handouts and worksheets for you, but they are specific to a question. Like for example, how do I measure waste from a salad bar? We have a worksheet on that, all right? And this is their website. I pride myself on being available to you one-on-one. That's something that Ben Center is really, really encouraging, something that I really think is important in building relationships. So this is my personal email address. KIH7@cornell.edu. There's also ben@cornell.edu. Both of them come to me. So if you like one rather than the other, it's totally cool. That's fine. But we also are more than happy to help work through problems with you, help you develop some research. We're always looking for new partners. And I can also, if you contact me and say, I really want to do a training in my state, but I don't have anything, my agency says they don't have anything, I can help prod, right? I can call them up and say, hey, I'm getting a lot of requests from schools in your state. They really would like to do something. How are we going to make that happen, right? Ultimately, I'm here to help you guys. So I already showed you pretty much everything you could ever possibly want to know about smarterlunchrooms.org, but that's our website. I am on every form of social media ever possibly known to man. So tweet at me, we could do Periscope, all that kind of fun stuff. And finally, this is the contact information for all of my colleagues because I'm just that kind of person that would give the contact information for all of my colleagues. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please, I'm going to hang out for a little while. I'm a little early. You're welcome, right? And also, something to note, we do have the booth again tomorrow. So if you are interested in getting a copy of that Smarter Lunchrooms No Time to Train manual or that TAPS manual, you can write down your email address at the booth, and we will email it to you. Yes, ma'am. What is my what? We're in USDA lane, so 2000 something. 2004. Like when I graduated. Huh, it's funny. Okay, sorry. What? Any other questions? Comments, concerns, stories, poems? Squirrel? From Up? I'm not Doug. I think she's making a comment about my having ADD. That's not nice. What else? Anything else? Was I that good? You have no questions. Really? Does anyone have any Smarter Lunchroom successes that they want to share with the world? Make me look good? Wow. All right, then fine. It was lovely meeting you guys. Have a great rest of your day and a great rest of the conference.